All right. What the fuck am I doing on a Monday morning? This isn't right. That's right. New day, new time just for today because we have a very special guest all the way from Spain. She is known as the queen of underground radio, Sarah Whizbanger from the Whizbanger Show. How are you doing and how's the
What's
weather?
up? What's up? I'm good. It's not morning here. 6 o'clock. Middle of my
Look at
work
you.
day.
Well, it's like they say, there's no rest for the wicked. So here we are. Before we get into it here, we're going to run a quick commercial from our sponsor at Poison Valley Clothing. Check it out. Alrighty, that's right. If you're looking for the latest and greatest in horror apparel as well as band merch, as we know, Poison Valley has quite a few band ambassadors for their company as well. So there's a whole lot of brand new shirts coming out. Check them out. Go currently to Poison Valley Clothing on Facebook in order to put your order in. And they got lots of really cool shit. So check that out. All right. So we are back with my guest today, Sarah Whizbanger. So,
hey, why don't you hook me up with those guys so I can, do some merch for the Whizbanger show?
Oh, absolutely. He's taken on as many ambassadors as he can right now. It's a pretty damn good deal, and he's a hell of an artist. So
cool.
I worked with him previously from Royal 10 Clothing.
Nope.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the one that most of us bands were with, I want to say the last couple years until they ended up closing down, and now they've turned into Poison Valley since the split. So,
well,
alrighty. So, how did you get into radio? What have you?
Oh,
what kind of led you to this amazing career you've had?
I wish it was a career. I run on sweat equity at the Whizbanger show.
Kind of like how did it all
begin? I
begin?
think my friends Cam and Natalie actually got me into it. So many years ago, I went to Canada. There was a conference there, and I met tons of people. Stayed in touch with the majority of them. It was called Noctis, Noctis, Metal Fest and Conference. Saw all kinds of great bands. Did a couple presentations. It was kind of like part heavy metal conference or festival and part academic and industry conference. And I went
that's
for
the kind of conference I'd like to go to.
Yeah, and then I put one on, totally not Noctis, but I put one on in 2015 at Gilman, 924 Gilman in Berkeley. And so right around that time, they were DJing for a station called Metal Nation Radio, which is now defunct. And they just kept bugging me about it. I always wanted to do it. I grew up in Berkeley and in the Bay Area, and there's a radio station there called KALX, and it's a university, UC Berkeley, kind of underground, but it's run by UC Berkeley, funded by the Regents, but relatively underground anyway. And I grew up listening to that, like literally grew up listening to KALX. And Jesse Luscious, whose show is on MMH, the home of rock radio now, on Monday nights from 8 to 10 GMT, Losing It with Luscious. He was a DJ on there, and I knew him. I've known him since the 80s. He's been in a bunch of punk bands, including Blatz. And so we've known each other for years. And I brought him in. He was a DJ at KALX, and I just had a ton of friends at KALX, and I always wanted to do it, but I don't in my elder years, I realized that I'm not actually a misanthrope. I just don't do well with people, not in group settings. And if I can
I hate
avoid
being in
it, I
large
kind
crowds
of
myself. So
if I can avoid it, I just kind of don't. I, I I guess I kind of avoid people, but I just try not to do too many group things because I just get it's uncomfortable for me. So anyway,
totally
I never
understandable.
pulled the trigger on being a DJ at Calix, even though I almost did it about 27 times, and then the date would come around and I'd make some
Why not
excuse like I
28?
can't do it, I have shit to do or whatever. Anyway, so there was a seed planted when I was like 10. And it was just something I always wanted to do, be a DJ, play roller derby, and be a wrestler, like the girls in clubs. And
Nice.
I've done
What was your
two out
favorite
of those
wrestling
three
promotion?
two out of those three things I have done. So these years and years go by, the seed is planted. I end up hanging out with friends and making friends in Calgary, and they were like, you should be a DJ on Metal Nation Radio. And they just kept pushing me, and then finally I was like, all right, I'll try it. And I really liked it. That station no longer is around, but a few of the DJs besides me ended up at MMH. I left after a year because of irreconcilable differences. The station manager was a sexist
What's up,
and
Steven?
homophobic, transphobic
Holy
jackass. And
crap.
so before I left, I did a queer metal show and played a bunch of queer metal, hardcore, and punk bands. And then I was like, peace out. So yeah, anyway, and then I just kind of was dormant for a while, and we started getting things together to move. We had a 5-year plan to move here, and that was underway, and work got a little bit different for me. And and then just actually a DJ from Metal Nation Radio who was at MMA, went to MMH, finally pulled me in, and he's no longer at MMH. He's off and doing his own thing now, but that's how it happened. It's your long answer.
Sometimes it's, time to move on if more opportunities, come about. So what was your favorite wrestling promotion? Was it WWF or NWA?
Dude,
or
Glow?
Ah,
I'm old.
I almost got there. I was.
I did go.
Really, really
I was a WWE fan when it was WWF. So
that's what I'm
that's how
saying.
old
So was I.
am. I did, and I saw the British Bulldogs wrestle once, and that was awesome. I was a Roddy Piper fan, and
for sure.
But I was super into Glow, and that was like I was into that when I was a teenager, but it didn't happen for me
too. I watched them all. I loved every bit of it. I only quit kind of watching it in the last couple of years because I've just gotten insanely too busy and not really lost interest, but it kind of got kind of stupid. Although the women's division in WWE has become like the biggest part of wrestling. So it's changed considerably. And it's nice to see that they've changed with the times. I was originally like a big Ric Flair fan. I don't know. I always dug him because he was that bad guy you just love to hate.
Really?
King Kong Bundy? Come on. I always had a thing for the bad guys. I mean, that explains my love of horror because I always root for the bad guy. So, but yeah, I feel that. Yeah, and I can understand how experiences like that, as you're, we're coming up in your radio career, where people just they're not on the same page with you, or they just have a closed mind, kind of makes you want to give up, but you didn't. And you're back at it, been back at it, and just kicking ass. I can honestly say from the bottom of my heart that all of us bands appreciate what you do every fucking Friday, because without you, most of us would not really be known. You have a thing for breaking a lot of bands in the underground to the forefront. And actually, you're helping all of us with fan bases and stuff. So was it always your love of underground bands, like the bands that you've gone out to, seen, that kind of like wanted to get you into this, or was it, like stuff that was more mainstream at first?
What's your question? Sorry.
That's okay.
Use fewer words.
Okay. So was it your love of underground bands that got you into doing radio? Did you always want to like work in that part of it?
Well, I mean, like I grew up in the Bay Area, so I grew up kind of, and I'm as old as Black Sabbath. I'm Black Sabbath years old. I think I'm a few months. No, they're like 6 months older than me. Not the guys in the band, the actual band. I'm not that old.
Well, no doubt.
I grew up in the Bay Area. I grew up, cutting my teeth to like thrash, crossover, Exodus, those guys. And so and my dad's a musician. My dad was in a band in the 60s. And so I've always had, like, music has always been part of my life. And my dad used to take me to clubs and I'd get asleep on there. There was this like club called it would never be called this today, but in Marin, it was called the Alibaba Cafe. And, sorry, I'm seeing some chats come in. And so, no, Tallulah, I'm trying to be nice. Anyway, so yeah, I would my dad would like take me to these clubs and he'd play and I'd fall asleep on their velour couches. And there's this place called the Alibaba Cafe. Had these like 70s, like, wooden round tables and like red velour. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Anyway, so I always kind of grew up with that, like as part of my backdrop. And then, growing up, a lot of the bands that some of them are like huge today were just little bands. You go see Neurosis and 1984 Gilman.
Neurosis.
They were like this, fucking punk band. so I guess I just like, I had an ear for it, and I like more famous bands too.
Well, sure.
A lot of them. But I don't think I've ever missed a Judas Priest show since 1982. So
and Rob just had his birthday. Happy birthday, Rob Halford.
So yeah, I mean, I guess my non-creative answer to that is that I play the music I like. And a lot of the music I like happens to be, bands that are not a lot of people know yet.
Which is awesome. The thing that I think I love most about your show is the diversity.
That's funny because I feel like it's not very diverse.
Really?
I'm I pull from like the 7, same genres. Doom adjacent.
But you got to understand though, most radio shows that I've listened to, let's say from Canada to I don't know, some of the other popular ones like Morphuzz and
well, don't be ranking on Morphuzz podcast. He's my friend.
Yes, Mr. Weirdbeard. I love him. He's a great dude.
He's got great taste in music, and he also plays a lot of underground stuff.
Absolutely.
So I wouldn't include him in that.
Well, but, I'm just saying that
I know where you're going.
Yeah, you can hear punk, you can hear stoner, you can hear doom, you can hear like just regular metal, thrash metal, all on one show. You know what I mean? Which is something I like. And it's every week it's kind of like back and forth. So, I mean, it always keeps it fresh. And, we're always hearing new and great acts that maybe we didn't know about before. So
I really like to try and like fit some brutal death metal into the same show where there'll be like punk rock and doom and just maybe power metal maybe Sabaton. Like, how do you fit Sabaton and Dark Throne into a show? I can absolutely do it. And I've done it before.
Exactly.
So,
And that's what's so cool about it.
I see what you mean. Yeah. It's fun. I mean, I think very few of us in the world have things that, like, everybody's really good at a few things, but not everybody knows it. And I was lucky to be able to like fall into something, even though I don't get paid to do it. It's something that I really enjoy doing, but also like I have an ear for it. So I'm pretty good at like sewing these shows together that, like, should it make any sense, but they do. So that's cool.
That takes talent, though. It really does. And I totally feel you on that because, you know, I've been doing this podcast now for about a year and a half, and I absolutely love it. If I could do it, you know, as just like I could close my shop, just do this all the time, I would love to do it. I'd do like 4, 5, 6 shows a week. I'd be happy doing that. But as you know, that just doesn't work out unless there's advertising dollars.
There you go. That's a good idea.
No, right. But so growing up in a musical family, did you play any instruments?
Well, yeah, kind of. I mean, I like can pick anything up and play it, but nothing I didn't want to. So I played the bass, guitar, regular 6-string guitar, I played piano, trumpet, violin. I sang, and the only things that I really liked to do, and the only things that stuck, were singing and playing piano. Oh, and I can play a mean tambourine. So it just never really stuck.
What? No cowbell?
If you want more cowbell, I can do that. If you've got to have more cowbell, I'm on it. Yeah, I mean, so nothing like sunk in for me, and I really turned to writing. So, you know, poetry, short stories, stuff like that. And then, you know, I went into academia and got my PhD because I had a kid and I was a kid, and there wasn't a whole lot of options for me because of my, you know, I had an interesting young life as a kid. And so there were a great many barriers for me. And when my kid came along, I didn't want to work full time and not raise them. So the only way that I could do that was keep going to college and then graduate school. And suddenly I had a PhD. So, but I was able to, you know, I kept my kid out of daycare for the most part. I mean, occasionally 3 days a week, or something, but that was not important to me. And so I didn't, you know, that took a lot of my energy because I was a single mom, and graduate school is very challenging. And
oh my goodness.
So I didn't pursue a music career, and it never really like sunk in for me. I mean, it was fine, but it wasn't. My dad encouraged me, but it just never.
You never see yourself on a stage?
No, you know, we just go back to like bands have people in them, right?
For sure. And who doesn't want to kill your bandmates?
I don't know. I'm a very anyway. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why it just didn't. That trajectory didn't happen. You know, I was always like had so many things going on in my life. Sure. Since I was 23 and I got knocked up. And so, you know, that kind of a life just there's a lot of distractions, and it's hard to focus on anything for yourself because you are 100% living for another person. Everything you do is for Absolutely. That kid, everything you do. And my kid just turned 28, and I still like every single day I think about them, and, you know, even, I mean, you know, they don't want me in their life the way they did 10 years ago, 15 years ago. But
hard to cut the cord.
No, it's not that. It's just, you know, when you're a parent, hopefully when you're a parent, your life is not yours. And exactly. So I didn't really, I went from childhood to parenthood, and then didn't. So I don't know if I had never had a kid, maybe I would have pursued a career in music, but other things happened.
That's okay because what you've built and amassed since then, coming out of that, the flames, so to speak, you've really done something amazing,
Thanks.
worldwide, even. So, and that's kind of how I feel about my music career and doing this and some of the other stuff that I'm getting into now because when I was so sorry.
I turned my ringer off.
Yeah. Don't know how I missed that one. I'm just going to yeet myself. All right. So, anyhow, because I can remember, when I was graduating high school, I thought I was going to do construction because I was in the construction trades, but I was in school band. So I did all the school band stuff. And I got to my senior year, and my band director ended up going, you could really get a career out of this. I'm like, well, I'm just going to, build stuff and play on weekends. And he's like, no, I mean, you could go to college, like you could teach. And that's kind of how that happened. And I had my son, Death Slinger, for the rest of you out there. I had him when I was 25, so I was already teaching and gigging at the same time, and I had to stop. I had to stop for a while. So I know exactly, what that takes when you're responsible for another life.
Yeah.
And I really commend you on that because I wish more people today would think the way we do. You know what I mean? So hopefully we can pass that wisdom on to the next generation.
I don't know if I want people thinking the way I do. I mean, I don't advise my life. God damn it.
My goodness.
She's a pit.
You never know what you're going to get here at the Underground.
Oh, I knew what I was going to get with her. Yeah, where is Sling Blade anyway?
Affectionately known as Sling Blade.
Affectionately.
I like the way
he
you
doesn't
talk.
He doesn't
He's back in Ohio. Still there. Just basically he's 20 now and still trying to find himself, really.
Yeah, they do that.
And that's kind of the most amazing thing about him is that he has so many musical tastes. So obviously my eclecticness when it comes to music kind of rubbed off on him because he's always wanting to go in different directions. Problem is he wants to do it all at the same time. So I'm like, okay, you kind of got to like pick and choose a little bit. If you got something really good that's going, stick with it for a while. Do what you can do. If you feel like you can't go any further, then, move on and try to do something different. Cause he likes a lot of like Norwegian folk stuff, particularly, Viking stuff like Wardruna and Heilung and stuff like that.
Ooh, I saw Heilung. We saw Heilung in San Francisco.
Did you?
Oh, it was so good. It was awesome. They absolutely bring it. And then the best part, this is what Marcus is like, the best part of a Heilung concert is like the devotees of Heilung who come in like full on full dress, like, wolf heads, and oh man, it was they were absolutely phenomenal.
Everyone's been telling me to go see them.
You gotta go.
I'm finally seeing Wardruna in November. So
yeah, I don't know what
that was bucket list for me.
Tour. They're touring all over Europe right now. Not here. Nobody comes to Spain. I don't know why. That's not true. A lot of people come. Spain's got a pretty awesome metal community, though. I love shows here.
That was
where's the clown at? I wanted to meet her.
I'm sorry.
Where's the clown at? I wanted to meet her. I was promised a clown, and I don't.
What's funny? Here. What's funny is I wasn't sure if you were referring to me or her.
You married a clown.
Yeah, well,
now you can say that.
It's really funny because since we started doing this together, people were always just like, you are Captain Spaulding reincarnated, and I'm like, I don't know. First of all, I don't think my makeup is close enough. Obviously, my devil cats decided to destroy my white makeup today, which is why you're getting a little bit of a different Reaper this time. Tan
But
Reaper,
I didn't
yes.
want the Reaper. I mean, of course, yes, I did. I was really looking forward to the clown. She's awesome. I'm a fan. What's her
Well,
name? Mischief, right?
yes. Mm-hmm.
Well, you tell
Well,
that girl she needs to show up next time.
I can guarantee that you'll get to meet her here probably afterwards for a few moments.
All
So
right.
that'll be good. She's still actually recovering from surgery that she had 2 weeks ago. So she's been a little
Hopefully
bit,
a surgery that she herself said publicly, because if not, you just did it for her.
Oh, no, she already has. That's why I felt comfortable saying that. Okay. All of the fans know.
Well, hey. I'm glad she's recovering.
What's up, Luis? From Tigo Kubak, which is a band out of the UK, a blackened doom band that I now represent under my management company.
Who?
Reapers. Tigo Kubak.
Oh, they're awesome. I've played them before. Tiggo.
I had a feeling.
Wait, hold on. I'll look later. I'm almost positive I've played them before. Yeah,
you might have.
I think I have.
Because I'll tell you what, they are on everybody's radar right now. An amazing band. We finally had our first like face-to-face meeting yesterday, and they are just a great bunch of guys. And I'm actually booking their North American tour for next year. So those of you out there in Three Witches Land, Tigo Kubak is coming to the States. That's right. They're going to do 15 dates starting around June 2023.
Yeah, I played them in April.
Awesome.
I played Demolished Blood off their 2022 Child by Combat album. Yeah, they're awesome. Yeah.
Did you know they have their own beer now?
I want a beer. I can't have my own beer. I don't want a beer right now.
Well, yeah. Somehow, I don't know how they got hooked up with a Thirst Class brewing company, but they now have their own Trial by Combat beer. How cool is that?
Anhillus Epartrita has a beer. They also have, hey, there they are. Whoa, weird. I know, it was so weird. I got a little flash on my other laptop that said, look back on your memories, and it was Anhillus Epartrita.
Oh. Mystical.
So creepy. They have hot sauce. Oh no, they had a vermouth. Spain has this vermouth thing. They love, especially in the north. They like vermouth. Not for me. Their whiskey's not bad. It's okay.
Now, see, that's what I would like to have, a Reaper bourbon. That would be awesome. I don't know what we call it, Screaming Hell or Big Bald and Stupid. I don't know. We'll call it something. Anybody wants it, let's do it. I don't care.
I actually do have a hot sauce. I briefly talked to the guys in some from Canada about it, because I bought some of their hot sauce and it's really good. And Gorilla Wizard has a hot sauce too. When I met the gorilla himself, I met him when I was in Queens visiting my dad, and he brought me, among other things, a couple of bottles of the hot sauce that they have running, and it's good. It's good.
Awesome. Yeah. I think there's another underground band, Big Oaf, has their own hot sauce also.
That's cool. I have one. I mean, I have my own recipe, but I just haven't.
Don't give it away now.
It's fire. What?
I said, don't give it away now.
Give that away.
Don't give away the secrets.
Money.
Exactly. Because I'll tell you what, that homemade brew that you had sent me was killer.
What did I send you? Did I send you the anisette?
That's it.
Or Kahlua?
It was 2 bottles, so I think it was both.
Yeah, those are my signature liquors. I actually had some Kahlua that I made just downstairs hanging out, waiting for tonight.
See, you're just a jack of all trades. Look at you.
Oh, Jill, dude. Jill. I'm just the fucking king. What can I say?
There you go. So speaking of the Spain metal scene there, what are some of your favorites?
I knew you were going to ask me that. Well, I mean, I got to say, my homies, 1945, and so I heard of, well, whatever. I'm friends with those guys. They're awesome. They're from Salamanca, killer, Obis, Contraband, Rosie
I've heard of them.
Finch, Contraband. Yeah, those are the guys I met. So I met a couple. I met them at the Barcelona Rock Fest, and and sorry, 2 seconds. I met them at Barcelona Rock Fest, and it was like when
She's also a keyboard ninja.
yeah, kind of. Well, I gotta do shit.
I wish I could be that quick. My wife's the same way.
Yeah. So I met them while Dave Mustaine was being a dick. And Marcus and I were like, this was so embarrassing. It was so embarrassing. You come to another country, you're an ambassador for your own country. Like, behave yourself. Don't be a douche. But
sure.
Megadeth is playing, and I'm like, fine, I'll sit through Megadeth. I've never been a Megadeth fan. I don't really like his voice. I like the band, but then he starts singing, and I feel like to me, he sounds like he's singing with his jaw wired shut. I don't like his voice.
He does look like he grits his teeth a lot.
And well, it's just the style of singing. I'm just not a fan. But then sure. Of course, on top of that, it's like, not every band is for you or for me or for, they don't have to suck. Sometimes you just don't like a band, and it's just not whatever. It's not personal. But he's such a douchebag. It is actually personal. And he was so rude. He spent, a good 2 minutes just complaining, and he would stop probably more than that. And he was just like cussing out the sound guy, and he's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Just like potty mouth central, super rude. And Marcus and I were, just going, what a dick. Like, just come all the way to Spain. People love Megadeth here. Like, they're super, like, the metalheads here are hardcore, like, thrash fanatics, like fanatics. They love it. And the thrash, there's so many awesome thrash bands here. There's so many. Spain's got a great metal scene. Anyway, and we're just embarrassed. I'm like, God, he's such an asshole. He can't even just come to another country and just be nice. Like, why can't he just or just not say anything, just be nice. And these guys overheard us. They were like, where are you from? We're like, oh, Barry, California. And anyway, it turned out they were in this band, and I gave them my information because I didn't have any stickers. So I was like, check out my show. And they did. And they sent me some stuff. And so they're great. They're called Contraband. And then, so who else? Cartzerat's really good. Rosie Finch. Let me see. I'm going to cheat a little bit because I knew you were going to ask me that. Oh, Obis. Obis is like Spanish royalty here. They've been around since the 80s, and we got to meet them. They also played. It was a surprise that they showed up and played at Barcelona Rock Fest, which was great. And I highly recommend it. It's totally worth traveling to. Really fun. Four About Josero is really good. I mean, there's tons. There's like a million that I'm leaving out, which is why I was going to go and look at my list, because I don't ask me about my opinion and I'm like on it, but I have a hard time remembering everything. So yeah, what can I say?
No worries. I have senior moments all the time.
Senior moments. Yeah. 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 So there's a ton of bands. Víderes a la Sang is really good. Actually, they're good. Oh, Bala, they're great as a duo. These two gals from I don't remember where they're from, but they're like this punk band. They're great. Yeah,
nice.
A lot. I mean, I've done like 4 Spanish themed metal shows now, so I love doing the themes. They're fun. The country themes are great, right? So
I have to agree.
Those are really fun. I haven't done any United States shows. I've done.
Well, you know what? Listeners need more than just what their favorite band is.
Sure.
the fact that you're broadening people's horizons to bands that they would never otherwise know now become fans. And that's what's so cool. It's almost like a crossover. Because, especially in the Doom genre, it's always like COC, Down, and Black Sabbath. Don't get me wrong. Black Sabbath,
don't put Black Sabbath in the category of COC and Down, please. Don't do that. No.
Not even a little bit.
I am not here to talk about things I don't like.
Out of the three, which is the one you don't like? I bet I already know.
I don't like two of those bands. I was oh my God, I was like the biggest Corrosion of Conformity fan when I was a kid.
When they were punk.
No, they were awesome. They were awesome. And many, 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 many years ago, I was living in Seattle. My friends came up and played a show up there, and they played the show. And then afterwards, we like went out to eat, as you do. And 2:00 in the morning to sober up and soak it up with potatoes and bread. And and this band came on, and I was like, this sucks. I'm like, is this this screamo thing that everybody's listening to? I mean, this was a long time ago. My friends are like, no, dude, that's COC. And I was like, you're so funny. I did not think it was them. They're like, no, I'm fucking serious. It's Corrosion of Conformity. I'm like, no, it's not. There's no fucking way. This is COC. And it turned out it was. And then I went into shock a little bit and then just kind of had to page back. And I'm like, I don't understand the trajectory. I can't figure it out. And I'm done. I spent about a day trying to figure it out. And I let it go. So, yeah.
Well,
once again, not here to talk about things I don't like. I love early COC. Animosity is one of my all-time favorite albums in the world.
Yep, absolutely.
Good times.
Well, that's kind of the problem with the way people label genres, and they lump a lot of people into that same genre.
Yeah, just because genres are good and bad. They have their place.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good if you're a new band and you're trying to be descriptive about what kind of music you play. But, I mean, if someone were to tell me that Thou was Doom, I'd be like, I think they're described as post-metal, but I don't understand that either.
I don't understand any of that.
I long for the days where it was like heavy metal and speed metal, and that was it.
Yeah. I mean, you knew what you were getting. You knew the sound. And you knew a little bit of what to expect because, some of those bands were ahead of their time, especially like the band Death, which is still one of my favorites of all time.
Death is awesome.
Yes. Death is awesome. Highly underrated. And unfortunately, obviously, their career got cut short a little bit, but still it lives on.
You think Death is underrated?
What's that?
You think Death is underrated? I don't know a single person who's not crazy for Death.
That's because you know all the cool people. The masses are still, they just don't get it. Sometimes
those people don't listen to the Whizbanger show. Have you heard their cover of Painkiller?
Yes. It was one of the sickest covers
played it already. I made a commitment to myself that I wouldn't play. I would do my covers shows, but I would never have repeats. So I can't play that. I mean, I could play it again on another show, but I've played it a few times. So I kind of have to ease up a little bit.
I mean, you got to rock it out. You just have to. That's just, like I said, one of those covers that you just got to play it more than once. That's how I felt when Sepultura did Symptom of the Universe by Black Sabbath. I thought that was a killer cover.
That one band. Sepultura is. I love Sepultura so much.
Yay! For a minute there, I thought I was in trouble again. Oh, mommy!
In trouble for what? What would you be in trouble for? If you didn't like Sepultura, I have a friend who broke it up with a woman he was dating because she didn't like Judas Priest.
Holy shit!
And you know what? I would do the same thing. I'd be like, "You don't like Judas Priest?
Oh, you got to go.
Sorry.
All right. Before we get into our next segment, I do want to bring y'all up to speed on what's happening at Reaper's Underground Productions, my band management company. So let's check out some of the bands of Reaper's Underground Productions.
Den einen Mythos hinter sich zu lassen. Und so tastet er sich blind von Zeitenufer zu Zeitenufer, bis ihm in all dieser Schwärze endlich ein wegweisendes Licht aufgeht.
And
congratulations. Congratulations on Doomsday Rejects.
Oh,
that band,
fucking boys. Oh,
that band is absolutely out of this world amazing. I love them so much. It's ridiculous. I'm waiting for 6 to come out. I mean, they did 60, they did 600, they did 60. Right. 6 is next. I can't wait. I'm a massive, ridiculously massive fan of that band. They're amazing.
Yeah.
They were on I just played them last week on my Southern Sludge Doom show. Southern Sludge Stoner Doom. I played that song, You're the Rat. The flies one freaks me out though. I really, really hate flies. Like, I hate them.
They've completely lit Florida on fire.
They're so good. Them and No Coffin. Those are the two like Florida bands. Like just
very, very much enjoyed them.
Yeah,
I wish I could get them. And that's why I always run this commercial during the show, because if you're a band out there and you're looking for some good representation and management and booking now, because I'm now booking tours, check me out. That's all you got to do.
Check them out.
Reapers Underground 666@gmail.com, and we can have a conversation. Matter of fact, I'm going to be booking Doomsday Rejects tour with Doomsday Prophet. Looks like we're going to be working on that.
I really think that you should get Doomsday Rejects to Spain.
Oh, man. I mean, it's going to take some time to get there, but we can make it happen. At least I hope so.
They can stay with me. It's fine. I like to put bands up and make them all pancakes. It's fun.
Oh, that's awesome. Because that's pretty much how the sleeping arrangements go on these things. Hey, we got a floor. I've done it myself. So
I have put many bands up over the last several decades. It's fun.
Absolutely. And a quick update on Human the Hoof Beast. He's got some new music coming your way. And he's this close to putting a whole band together, too. So it'll be exciting to see what happens there.
That's good.
Yes. He's another person like us, wears many hats. He's got like 2 businesses. He's got a tattoo parlor and opened up an exotic fish store. Not sure how that came about, but that's what he did. And now he's kind of getting back at the music after kind of taking a little hiatus there for a second. So
That's cool.
it'll be exciting to see what comes up. And
Well,
not to mention, shameless plug time, the Grave Next Door Fall Tour kicks
I love
off
them too.
September 10th. Yes,
Grave
they
Next
signed
Door,
on with
awesome
me.
band. And I want
Absolutely.
to personally thank Heather Lawson of Happy Hour with Heather and Guest for turning that band on to me, turning me
Absolutely.
on to that band. Yeah. I think both are
However
dramatic
that works.
Heather is awesome. I absolutely adore her. She was on my show. She was on your show too, right?
No, not
I was
yet.
on their show, and then she was on my show, and she's supposed to come back on and do. We were supposed to do a horror movie soundtrack show together, but we haven't done that yet. And that was so. Heather's awesome. She's like a genius, and she's just one of the sweetest, most precious women on the planet. I absolutely just Heather is awesome, and Andrew is also really, really cool. And a pretty prolific writer, Andrew Davey of Happy Hour with Heather and Guest.
I wish he was still doing that show, his little podcast, because he always had great bands on.
They still do it.
Do they?
Mm-hmm. It's on Facebook.
What the heck was that called?
Happy Hour with Heather and Guest.
Not that one.
Oh.
His own.
Oh, his other one. Yeah, I don't know.
I forget the name of it, but it was stellar. You could hear, Grave Next Door, Black Tar Superstar, any number of underground bands that he would just.
Well, I think, like a lot of people, it was a pandemic, and then things started to change and lift a little bit. And some people are doing other things, I guess.
For sure. I mean,
what happens? Life morphs.
Heather gave all of us bands a stage when we didn't have one.
Yeah.
And I will never forget that. Yeah. So if any of you want to catch some of those stellar performances, not just Black Tar Superstar, but Grave Next Door was on there.
Pure Sonic Outcasts.
Pure Sonic Outcast was on there.
Another one of my favorite underground bands.
Absolutely. Gosh, I'm like forgetting so many names because when we did that live stream tour, we had Sensation on there.
See, you know what I mean, though? You ask these questions about specific things, and you're just like, nope, not going to happen.
For sure. But definitely go to their YouTube channel. Check out all those performances. So we've talked about the underground. So what would be your top, let's say maybe top 5, like more mainstream bands? The bigger ones is what I'm saying, not something.
Judas Priest, Merciful Fate, Girls' School.
Yes. Somehow I knew we had that in common.
Does it have to be heavy metal?
Does
it have to be metal?
Absolutely
mainstream?
Not.
I mean, I like metal punk mainstream.
What do you find yourself listening to? You know what I mean?
I listen to everything. I like country music. I'm a huge country. I love country music.
Who's your favorite artist?
My favorite country artist?
Yeah.
Dwight Yoakam.
Okay.
Who I've seen 3 times.
Didn't see that coming.
Twice. What?
I didn't see that coming.
I fucking love Dwight Yoakam. I've loved him since I was 19. When I first heard him, I was working at Tower Records in Berkeley, and
Tower Records. I missed that fucking store.
And 1989. And my girlfriend, who was also a punk, we were putting all the country stuff away. She's like, check this out. I mean, that was like country in the 90s when the late 80s and 90s was bullshit. It was like everybody liked Katie Lang, which, I appreciate her and everything, but I'm not here to talk about things I don't like. Anyway, I listened to Buenas Noches from a Lonely Room, and I fell in love. So Dwight Yoakam. I mean, all 3 Hanks, absolutely. I love Hank Williams Jr.
Fuck yeah. That's what I thought you were going to say.
Love. Hank the Third. Hank 3 is great. I'm waiting for him to maybe play again because I really would love my husband to see his show. I took my kid, and my kid was like, I don't know, 21, 22, and they were like, I'm like, okay, it's going to be country at first, and then it'll be like kind of punk, or no, then it'll be doom, and then it'll be punk. So that's what he does, and he plays for like 4 hours,
which is bad fucking ass.
just absolutely amazing. And so, what does my kid do? He's such a stoner. He goes and sits up in the balcony at the Regency Ballroom in San Francisco, gets high, and I'm like, he's like, come on, mom, sit down, smoke a joint with us, and I'm like, you're stupid. I'm like, you're gonna get high, and you know this is gonna go on for like 4.5, 5 hours, right? You know, he's like, okay. So I later peeled him off the floor. Yeah, he was fine. But it was like, he's like sitting down. He's like, it's country music. I'm on into it. I'm like, whatever, dude. It's awesome. And they didn't enjoy it as much as like the doom stuff at the end. I think it goes country, then he does his punk, and then he ends with doom, and it just gets like totally weird. But it's doom stuff. And it was so right when we saw them. It was right after what's his name? God damn it, Dave Rocky died. Odorous from Guar, and Hank 3 had his mask on the stage. He had the Oringus mask on the stage the whole time he was playing. It was really cool.
That's amazing.
It was like right after Dave Rocky died. Yeah.
So Tallulah says no.
Dolly Parton.
Dolly Parton.
Love Dolly. I like a lot of country music. I mean, I even like Brooks and Dunn. So I like it all. I like jazz. I love jazz. I like Red Garland's like my favorite jazz musician on the planet. Thelonious Monk, Etta James,
Coltrane.
I like blues. I like old school. I like Teddy Pendergrass. I love like old school like 80s R&B. Anita Baker.
Powerhouse of a vocalist.
I like hip hop. I love rap. I love it. I love like, you know, Too Short. I'm from Oakland, so Oakland baby. Yeah, I mean, I love all that stuff. Wu-Tang. I love Lizzo, Cardi B. I'm into all. I like a lot of stuff. Justin Timberlake, bringing sexy back. But I mean, like as far as like heavy metal and punk rock, like mainstream stuff, like I really, I don't know. I would say like punk would be like Lunatics, the Lunatics, Bad Brains, Black Flag, obviously.
Black Flag, yeah.
Anything that Rollins has ever done. I got to see the Rollins band at CBGB's a long time ago, and that was cool.
You suck.
I'm fucking awesome.
I wish.
Yeah, like, but Judas Priest is like, you know, my touchstone band, like the band that, you know, is amongst many bands that probably like rescued me from a lot of harm growing up, you know. But I've listened to like I got into like, it's kind of one of those things where it's like I have my favorite Judas Priest album, and then I have like my touchstone. Oh, today is Michael Jackson's birthday. Happy birthday, Michael. Yeah, so like yeah, I mean, I listen to like I have two, right? I have like my favorite Judas Priest, Scorpions, Motorhead albums, and then I have my touchstone Judas Priest, Motorhead, Scorpions albums, right? Like
for sure.
Screaming for Vengeance brought Judas Priest to me, but then like I went back, and my favorite Priest album is Stained Class, right? Like it was Blackout was my entree into the Scorpions, but you know, I would say probably In Trance is probably my favorite Scorpions album. Like Motorhead, Another Perfect Day was the first time I ever heard Motorhead, but it's not my, you know, it's not my favorite Motorhead album. I would probably just go with the very first, or Bomber. Probably Bomber's my favorite. So, you know, this is like 82. when I first started getting, so I think like I'm still a huge fan of all the bands that brought me into heavy metal when I was a little kid.
Hell
AC/DC.
yeah.
Although I was
Same
already
here.
into AC/DC when I was like 10. So yeah.
Still
Those would
relevant
be,
today.
yeah, Girls' School also, but I didn't learn about Girls' School till I was a teenager. So it's late, maybe 1985 or 6 or something. That's not late, I guess. I don't know. I'm younger than like a lot of people that I grew up with too, though, So
Sure.
by a little bit, but yeah, mainstream. I mean, it's not like I don't like avoid mainstream heavy metal. It's just not always what I listen to.
For sure.
But
And,
I love Black Sabbath, one of the greatest bands of all time, of course. And I don't think I heard Black Sabbath until Dio was with him, because like I was an Ozzy fan, but that was after, I think.
I think a lot of people,
It was like, this is early 80s, so
yeah, caught on to Sabbath when they did Heaven and Hell and the Mob Rules.
Mob Rules, that's the one I'm thinking of. So Mob Rules is like that's what like brought me to Black Sabbath. And
then you find out they had 10 years before
but
that.
I don't remember. I mean, those are like, they're the blurry years.
Right.
But now I would say, you can guess. You can guess. Well, we'll just make it fun. What do you think my favorite Black Sabbath album is?
Paranoid.
No.
No?
Nope.
That's what everyone always says. Is it the first one?
Nope.
Damn it. Volume 4.
No, dude.
Fuck. Sabotage.
No.
Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath.
No. Jesus.
What?
It's Master Reality.
I was going to say, don't you dare tell me Technical Ecstasy. That album was fucking crap.
Excuse me, sir. You're talking about royalty here.
I know, but
Master Reality is my favorite Black Sabbath album.
Nice. That's actually a nice change of pace. Never would have guessed.
When I don't know, I was shopping and went into, I don't know if you guys have it where you live, but it's a place in San Francisco, in the Bay Area, and in Berkeley. It's called Half Price Books and Records.
Oh yeah, we got one.
Yeah, I think it's like all over the United States. I found Master Reality there, and I already had it, but I was like, well, let's see what it looks like. Maybe it's in better shape than the one I have. And out comes the fucking original poster that came with that album. So I dug in my pocket and I brought out $4.99 and I walked out with it. And I was like walking out going, I felt like I just robbed this place. Yeah.
Holy crap.
It's downstairs. I don't have a frame for it yet. It's a weird size, but it's like the original poster, and it's awesome. I've had it for like 15 years. I haven't framed it yet because I can't find a frame. It's a weird size.
Yeah. That's kind of how I feel. I mean, the only original, and I feel really kind of stupid about it, but the only album that I was able to get an original first pressing from Sabbath was in my dad's record collection, and it's the double album We Sold Our Souls for Rock and Roll, which is how I discovered them when I was like 8. So that was my introduction.
My dad got me into country music.
Well, hey,
and psychedelic. My dad was in a rock band, so I mean, I grew up with a lot of that, like rock
for sure.
And but my dad's like, he plays a lot of boogie woogie, so I grew up with a lot of like Dr. John and just New Orleans, a lot of New Orleans music.
Amazing.
Yep,
that's right, people out there in Three Witches Land. We love all music, not just one thing. You might think we do. I mean, most people, wouldn't think that I like Buddy Rich and his all-star band and John Coltrane, Miles Davis. I love the funk bands of the 70s, Wild Cherry and a lot of the
I saw Parliament,
P-Funk All-Stars. Yeah. There we go.
We just saw them in Berkeley
Nice.
2 years ago.
Oh, that had to be cool.
It was insane. When I was in Atlanta many years ago at an academic conference, giving a presentation that I had done my thing already. And I went upstairs to my hotel room, was trying to, chill out, figure out what I wanted to do. And I hear like the musical, the instrumental part of Give Up the Funk. And I was like, oh, someone's like bumping Parliament. All right, like dancing around in my hotel room. And then I'm listening, and it keeps going, and it keeps going, and it keeps playing. And I'm like, what dance hall music like version is this? And I go out, and in the square, they're playing.
Holy
so
crap.
I picked my shit up and I ran downstairs, and I went in there, and there was this whole like party in the park in the center of Atlanta.
Nice.
And Parliament was playing, and it was free. And they had been like jamming for like a half an hour before like Clinton came out, and then he came out, and it was amazing. And I like sat down in the park, and people were like, have some food, have some beer, have whatever. It was great. That was amazing. Oh, that was amazing.
Awesome. Well,
any last questions?
Since we are at the top of the hour, top favorite horror movie of all time?
Texas 2.
Yes. Love me some Chop Top. Just watched it again for probably the 200th time last week. There's just that film is, I don't know, amazing.
Yeah.
So
I got to meet Bill Moseley a few times. Actually.
Did you?
Yeah, we did when I was playing roller derby.
My wife almost karate chopped him.
We went to Seattle has like a horror fest conference convention thing called Crypticon, and when I was playing roller derby, we had a booth there, and so and I had a broken leg.
Oh man!
Bill Moseley signed my cast.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then I got a picture for my kid, and Devin was 16 at the time, 16 or 17. And Bill Moseley goes, is it okay if I lick my plate, you dog dick? And I was like, absolutely, please do. So Devin has that framed in his house.
Dog will hunt.
I got to meet Bill Moseley a few times. He was so cool. He's very nice.
Yeah, that's another.
I'm like a horror convention. I'm like, where's Bill Moseley? That's the only thing that matters. I mean, The Shining, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, and Wrong Turn 2 with Henry Rollins. Oh, wait. Also, Last House on the Left.
Original or the remake?
The second one. No, the first one kind of fucks with me. The whole it's just a little too
one of those I can't handle.
Predatorial, but it's great.
I like it.
But the second one is really good, and then also Cabin in the Woods. I would say
really.
Okay. I love Cabin in the Woods. I've seen that movie so many times. That's like one of the movies where I need to pick me up. I need to feel good about myself. I'm sad. It's like we watch Office Space or Cabin in the Woods.
That's awesome.
I love Cabin in the Woods. Oh my God, so good.
Many people do. So
Sigourney Weaver, the biggest that when we saw that the first time, and the end she walks out, it was like, what? Yeah. That was awesome.
That's awesome. Well, it has been an absolute delight for not only myself, but for all of our viewers. What kind of a message would you like to leave to maybe some possible new listeners that you've made today?
Listeners or bands? I don't know what to say. If you want to listen to the Whizbanger Show, it's awesome. Check it out. Whizbanger Show, Fridays from 2 to 4 California time, 5 to 7 on the East Coast, 10 to midnight in the UK. Hey. And on MMH Home of Rock Radio, mmhradio.co.uk. You can listen to it there. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Linktree, just look up the Whizbanger Show. And if you are a new band, please reach out to me via email, the Whizbanger Show at mmhradio.co.uk, or just find me and just look. I'm literally the only Sarah Whizbanger in the world. So you just Google me and you will find me there, and definitely get in touch. And I always respond to people, like always. It may take a minute, but I always do respond. And if a band's not a good fit for my show, I'll just tell them that. It's like, and then I'll send them. I don't just say sorry, peace out. I send them to somebody else on the station. So like, we have a pretty good variety of DJs at MMH, and so
for sure,
if it's not a good fit for the Whizbanger Show, it'll be a good fit for Pedal to the Metal or Losing It with Luscious or the Early Bird. Like somebody else will pick it up. So get in touch, send requests, send theme ideas, especially because I love doing themes. And if you are from a country that has like a small but mighty metal punk scene like Indonesia, get in touch with me because I would love to do like a show. And then I would also I want to plug Weedian and Swamp Records and Ripple Music and Electric Valley Records. All four of these organizations have subscriptions on Bandcamp, and it's totally worth it because you get all their stuff. So Weedian is awesome, and they have country collections. So they did one in Japan, they did one in Portugal, they did one for Indonesia. What?
Heavy Katana.
Oh, Heavy Katana is awesome. Love those guys. I did a Japanese show and I got to play. I've played those guys a few times, but they're also nice. Yeah, Heavy Katana is awesome. There's so much stuff coming out of Japan, and I would also say, like, if you are from a country that similar to Japan is very much CD heavy, like try please for the global heavy metal punk community, please try to make your music digitally available. Because when I did the Japan show, I talked to a lot of bands and they're like, well, we have CDs. I'm like, can you send me a digital link? And so Japan, the scene there's, the underground metal scene is pretty small and it's very CD heavy. Like they do a lot of CDs. And then Indonesia, they do a lot of cassettes. So it's like, that makes it challenging.
It does.
To, try and do these international shows where, like I did one for Australia and it was easy. So I've done like an Australia show, Spanish show. I'm going to fit to do Ireland soon. Nice. And so, but like I really want to do an Indonesia sludge show because I love it so much. Like sludge is huge out in Indonesia and all over Indonesia, but a lot of them are like this cassette. So it's hard to get the music. So if you are a band that is relatively underground, then and you come from a place that does a lot of like CDs or cassettes, like consider making your music digital.
That would be
at least make it available for me and then I'll play it.
Fuck yeah.
Anyway, this was fun. Thanks, dude.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on the show today. And as always, out there in Three Witches Land, stay heavy.
Stay heavy.